Warning, the following video is raw and unscripted. Ranting and rambling may occur. Viewer discretion is advised.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Josh from Nightmare on Woodsboro Lake. I wanted to talk tonight about a movie that I just recently watched called There's Someone Inside Your House. I watched it last night on Netflix. As many of you know, I did a trailer review on this movie, or a trailer reaction on this movie a couple weeks back. And, you know, at that point I was like, oh, this could be hit or miss. You know, most movies are nowadays, especially from trailers. You can't prejudge a movie. I mean, some of them, the trailers are overly cheesy, and then you're like, you can pretty much know what you're gonna get yourself into watching that movie. But this one was really like, well, then I'm like, man, I'm gonna really either enjoy this or it's gonna be I don't know, it's gonna be a flop, or, you know, just one that's like, mediocre. But to be completely honest with you guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was pretty good, and pretty well executed. Some of the movie actually reminded me of Scream, one of my favorite movies, in the way that the whole whodunit, you know, scenario, you know, a lot of red herrings and possibilities, and just this false sense of like, you think you know where it's heading, and you think you've pieced things together, and ends up throwing you a curveball, which I went in there expecting, due to the whole fact that sometimes when you're watching these movies, like, for example, of course, Scream, Billy Loomis, you are like, oh, they're making it too obvious. Can't be him. Like, they're making him look so guilty, but then we're gonna be like, oh, it's not him. Like, oh my god, I put all my eggs in that basket, and it totally ends up being somebody else. But they really screwed with your head by making you think so much that, like, oh, they're so guilty, but maybe they're making it look this way just to throw you off the scent. And then, but what if they're pulling another one of those scenarios where you're like, oh, it can't be, it's too obvious. And then, but wait, it's actually so obvious that, you know, they're trying to make you think that it's I'm just totally like doing this thing right now in my head, and I'm sorry, like, I can't compile words sometimes, but they're totally just effing with your brain, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I know I usually do in my reviews, but this is one of those ones that I'm like, I'm going to let people enjoy it. I mean, you can't always give like a spoiler-filled review, and I'm going to leave things under wraps for you to uncover for yourself. But, I mean, it was a solid movie. Like, I felt like a lot of the characters were somewhat likable, and you kind of like, you barely got a glimpse in their lives. It didn't have a lot of like character development. I mean, because, you know, their movies are only so long. Like, if you want that kind of thing, then watch a TV series where you can actually like start to build a rapport and get a grasp of who the characters are. This, you kind of get like a tiny peek into their lives, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to bond with these characters, but you still feel for these characters, being like the social outcasts and stuff. And I know, especially for people like me, I mean, I most of the time I got along with everybody, but you feel like kind of on the outside looking in, which at times I really did feel that way, because you had all these popular kids and all these groups of people that, you know, stuck to their own, and you were just some stranger, like, who they didn't care to, like, really even get to know, just based on either, like, the way you looked or the things you were interested in. Or for sometimes people like me, I was very shy for the longest time, and I really can relate to the social outcast aspect of it. And, you know, the movie is based in a small farming town in Nebraska. So, you know, limited population, very secluded, and you come to see that with certain points in the movie, that they really are in a very condensed town, which, you know, I know about that growing up. I lived on a farm, and currently I live in a small town. I mean, small towns aren't as small as they used to be, but in comparison to some of the cities and towns around, my town only has 4,000 people. So in today's standards, that would be pretty small. I live out in the country with my wife and my dog, so I can kind of relate to the whole, like, being out there in the middle of nowhere and almost kind of being shut off from the rest of the world, in a sense. But yeah, that's where our story takes place. And I don't know, just the way that the movie goes, like, just like in the trailer. So I can tell you this without giving you spoilers, because if you've watched the trailer, then you already know this. So the killer tends to post these people's dirty secrets around, and kind of throws these people under the bus, and makes it even more socially awkward for them amidst their peers, because their dirty laundry, in a matter of speaking, is out to dry, and everybody can see it. And then they die. It's kind of like one last reflection on what you've done before you take a dirt nap. And upon their being killed, the killer 3D prints these people's faces into masks. So the last thing that they're looking at is themselves, essentially. Which I thought that was an awesome premise, to be completely honest with you. Like, you know, all these horror figures have their iconic look or mask. This guy is taking it a step beyond and literally forcing these people to look themselves somewhat in the face right before they kick the bucket. And I think that's also part of the reflection, aside from the photos of these things that they've done that they don't want people to know about. And, you know, we've all had our periods of time in our lives where we're like, keep things kind of hidden away, you know, whether that's skeletons in your closet that are like really crazy, or even like stupid things that you just don't want people to know because you feel like they're going to judge you for it or make fun of you for it. And a lot of these ones that are going on with the kids in this movie are very serious, things that they're hiding. I'm not going to spoil any of the secrets that these kids are holding on to, but I really just was so intrigued by the whole way this killer operates and his motives. And like I said in the beginning, the end was such a twist, like, because you had suspicions, and, you know, it's always like, all these people have so many guilty things that they're doing. You're like, oh, it possibly could be this guy, or oh man, it could possibly be her. They're all doing some shady stuff, and then at the end, the reveal, you're like, part of you is like, I kind of had a feeling about him, but all these other signs pointed to this person. So like your gears are constantly turning as you're watching this movie, and you're just trying to figure it out, you know. Was it Colonel Mustard in the library with a candlestick? Like, what the fuck? So, yeah, I mean, I feel like if I say any more, I'm going to spoil the movie, so I really don't want to do that. But I say you guys should check it out. It's on Netflix now. Once again, that is called There's Someone Inside Your House. Brand new. And yeah, definitely worth a watch, especially in this spooky season. It's a good watch whether it's Halloween season or not. So, but this is definitely a better time for that, especially if you're not into horror movies or thrillers or suspense movies like I am, because I watch those mother effers all year long. But I definitely recommend it. And if I was to rank this, I would give it at least 4 out of 5 jack-o'-lanterns. In the spirit of Halloween, I'm going to rank it by jack-o'-lanterns. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I didn't want to spoil much, but I kind of just wanted to give a quick little review and how I felt about the movie, which mostly positive. I mean, side note, it had some good music choices for the soundtrack, and the atmosphere was just right for this movie, and I would definitely watch it again. I mean, I'm not going to obviously put it in my top movies, but it's definitely one that I would revisit. So I hope you guys get a chance to check it out. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.